We have a very special guest today, everybody. We got Vintij, who you should follow on TikTok or any platform. He's one of my favorite follows. Vintij is a dear friend. He's a member of the Justice for Hire community, the show that we're making, the action show. And he's also a Tai Chi practitioner, martial artist, and real too. Like he's had to defend himself in real fights. And he knows that there are certain things that work and don't work. And so he's just like a really, really great human being, spiritual thought leader, amazing guy, just like one of my favorite people. And I'm just super happy that he's in LA to do this with us. So I'm gonna see if I can go live with him too. Obviously he's here, so we're live in person. But I know that there's a way for us to do this together if I invite a guest. Look at this, I'm gonna invite Vintij. Hold on, are you following my Tai Chi account? After the illustrious intro. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Maybe if you jump on the live and press like request. And if you're watching this off platform, on YouTube, etc. Oh, Vintij joined. And let me press you and see if I can just invite you. Oh, follow back. I thought I'm following you from so many other accounts. All right, so
Just requested.
you just requested? Accept.
We can get another angle.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Here we go.
We're not sure if this is really going to work out or not. All right, so today we're going to do some push hands. And we're going to do some Tai Chi, some push hands. And I also want to work on whatever Vintij wants to work on himself, too. So we're going to work on all this stuff. And I'm definitely getting a workout.
Oh, you are? I'll turn it down.
So they may or may not work, this whole guest live thing. Very choppy. Thanks for bearing with us.
Should I not do this? I do hear the echo.
Okay, we tried. Community outreach. What's going on, community outreach? All right. Okay, so, dude, what would you? Is there anything you'd like to work on? Is there anything you want to work on? Tai Chi wise, that like we touched on in the past, or do you want to do like anything else?
I kind of like forgot the thing we were doing. I forgot what it was called. Like grab, rush, something like that.
Like push hands wise, or just by along?
No, it's not push hands. No. Can you something like that? Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You mean this two-person exercise?
Yeah.
So this is the foundation. Like, and this is more so. Let's get a little closer to this. So, okay, we're gonna show something real quick. So, Tai Chi push hands is a bridge into a lot of things. It's a bridge into just making yourself more sensitive. It's 1/3 of the Tai Chi system, and it's a two-person exercise, and it's partially a massage. But it's also, or there's massage benefits, there's health benefits for massaging your own organs through the certain ways that you're moving. But it's also helpful for you gaining sensitivity in grappling and using the Tai Chi concepts in grappling, in other forms of martial arts, etc. So Vintij and I have played a lot of the freestyle push hands, which is essentially just freestyle grappling. And you can apply those concepts just like you can apply judo or Greco-Roman wrestling or sambo or swai-jiao or all these other aikido, etc. grappling arts to a grappling moment. So grappling is just like the concept of like, and grab them, throw them on the floor. But push hands is a very specific pressure exercise. And there's a suite of exercises. And the one that we're going to do right now that you can do at home, and we'll actually do it independently first so you can practice it on your own, then you can bring it to other people. Is from the Wu style of Tai Chi. And the Wu style of Tai Chi, the reason that my father and I were recruited onto the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team by Coach Josh Waiskin, and we were the first outsiders ever recruited into Grandmaster William C.C. Chen's school, meaning outsiders, we were not Grandmaster Chen students. We came in because we were Wu style practitioners, and I also had fought Sancho against professionals when I was in college. So I had a fight background, and I had a fight background because of my confidence in doing this one exercise. So without further ado, we're going to do this exercise together, and doing this with just you and a friend, you and a family member, especially if you live with somebody, it's massive, will give you just immense strength, immense sensitivity that you can then apply to feeling confident against a person who's bigger than you, and being able to control to a certain extent where their pressure that they're directing towards you goes. Meaning that it doesn't go onto you necessarily, it can go past you, slide past you. It's great stuff. So first thing we'll do, and let me just adjust the camera so we can slide this down. All right, just a little bit. All right. So first thing we'll do, let's actually just get some alignment. Imaginary string lifts you from the top of the head, and relaxation cascades down the spine. One vertebrae getting farther away from the last, all the way down through the tailbone, through the hips, down the knees, ankles, heels into the ground. Palms facing flat down. Special attention on the middle finger of each hand. Mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. Let me know if you can hear me. Hopefully you can. And slight tension in the anus. Inhaling into the belly. And giving the sensation of breathing a color. And you're going to gather that color at a specific point. The level of your body that you'll gather it on is 3 finger lengths below the belly button, or 2 inches. And you want to do that at that level, but in the centermost point of the body. So deep inside the second chakra, the orange one in yoga. The lower dantian, as it's called in Tai Chi and Kung Fu. Gather the breath there, see the color, whatever color intuitively comes to you. Exhale, wash it down the arms and the palm of the fingertips. Inhale deep. Exhale, wash it down. Inhale deep. Exhale, wash it down. This exercise is called Gilded Pillar. So we always warm up with this just to get our center line awareness. And if you practice anything else outside of Tai Chi, first of all, if you don't practice Tai Chi, this might be a new concept for you, but it's the concepts in many different other modalities across cultures worldwide. Some people might call this the silver cord, and they may call it the you're essentially the pillar, the middle pillar. Some people call it middle pillar breathing, even though there's a specific set for that. But it's as if your center line, centermost point of your being, goes through your entire body. And you can think of it as a pole or an antenna or a pillar. And that the whole body, the physical matter of your body, is wrapped around that pillar, like vines around a tree or around a pole. Color. Inhale deep into the belly. Exhale, wash the color down. And then we're going to inhale. I'm just going to step forward so I don't bump into Vintage. We're going to inhale, and the breath's going to lift the wrists. Both wrists coming up. And exhale, push the color through the palms and fingertips. Inhale, turn the palms up. Interlace the fingers above the head, exhaling down, softening, inhaling, going up. Exhale, hands washing down, down, down. This is uplifting heaven. We'll do it again. Exhale, wash the color through the palms and fingertips, like push it out like a hose. Inhale, turning, going up. Interlace your fingers, exhaling down, down, down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Mouth closed, tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. And as you exhale, you're washing the color down, visualizing it. You have to use the imagination to create images inside the body. You're using this breath work, this color visualization, to give your attention a vehicle, and then you can drive your attention through the body. As you drive your attention through the body, you're essentially creating a map, a more detailed map for yourself. It's called mapping, and you have more sensitivity and awareness inside the body, and then you can start moving that awareness beyond the body into other objects and people, which is how grappling and martial arts works. So you have to have some awareness of somebody else to be able to make decisions around their movements. And this obviously applies more than just martially, but to any situation in which subtle pressure or overt pressure comes, whether that's a conversation, relationships, etc. So super important stuff for you to be able to bridge this personal experience, self-generating the color visualization into the belly, and then washing it through, washing the attention, pushing the color out. Inhale, pull it back in, down the arms, into the belly. Interlace the fingers, exhaling, softening. Inhaling, stretching up, out of the hips, onto your toes, out of your shoulders. And exhale, wash that color down the arms and down the legs like a radar. And now we're going to widen the stance. And you can check Vintij for the full form, who's coming a little closer. Hollow fist rested right on the hips. Notice that he's in what's called a half horse stance. So half meaning that instead of going all the way down with your thighs parallel to the ground, we're going to keep it about halfway down, weight mostly on the heels, hollow fist on the hips, and exhale, pelvis rotates on the femur. Chest is going to become parallel to the ground. Inhale, the breath pulls you to the side and up. And eyes on the belly button, exhaling down. Just like a dope dance video. Inhaling up. Eyes on the belly button, exhaling down. The breath should feel like a rope that you're climbing. So the rope you're climbing, pulling up, 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 and then releasing, exhaling down. This is called Dragon Whips Its Head. It's incredibly helpful for redistributing heat that gets trapped in the chest cavity. That means if you're stressed, it's a great exercise to do to redistribute the heat and reverse it. Other direction, we're going to go up. Again, I'm only using my hands to illustrate the breath visualization. Exhale, releasing it, going down. So you should feel like you're climbing the rope of the breath, the color visualization of your breath. Climbing the rope up. Exhaling, releasing it down. Climbing it up. Exhale. One more time. Exhale. And drop the hands. Inhale, breath lifts the wrist, wrist lifts the body. Exhale, wash the color through the palms and fingertips. And we're going to go right into Jade, Rabbit, Wash. We're going to do a little neigong before we do the push hands. The reason we're going to do the neigong is because I want to make sure that Vintij, I haven't seen him in a while, I want to make sure he takes more of this with him on his travels, because the neigong is the most special stuff I can share. And inhaling up. So first we're going to do an attention circuit. What that means is that my tip of my finger is going to be as if it's on the back of my neck, the back of my body. So as I exhale, I push my attention through my fingertips. Inhale, draw the wrist back, and then exhale, my fingers are floating down, but it's as if they're touching the back of my neck. And wherever they touch, it softens that level in the body, softening the muscles back of the neck, the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, down the hips, the buttocks, down the backs of the legs, behind the kneecaps, the calves, the ankles, the heels, into the ground. Wherever my fingers are pointing to, that's the level that softens. Inhaling up. This is called an attention circuit. It's really important for expanding awareness, exercising the concept of expanding your awareness and putting your awareness, creating loops in time and space where you can connect your mind to another place in time and space. So it sounds really big, and it sounds like I'm not talking about something that's practical. It becomes very practical when you're fighting and someone's trying to punch you in the face. And so it's really great when you can say, okay, cool, I know he's going to throw this right hand. That right hand's coming at my face, but if I place my other hand on his shoulder and slip that palm and I bump his hip, I know that this part of the hip is going to come out. I'm going to pull a little bit and step behind him. I'm going to throw him on the ground. Like these concepts, being able to move my attention through a body under intense pressure come into play. These concepts always come into play. But unless you are training yourself in bridging these concepts into practical reality, then they do sound really, really big as if they're not practical at all. But what we're working on is a core mechanic. The core mechanic of taking your attention and putting it somewhere else, connecting one point on your body to awareness somewhere else. That's the core mechanic of taking your attention and putting it somewhere else, connecting one point on your body to awareness somewhere else. That is very, very practical. And we use it in daily life. We use it when we open doors. We use it in many other ways. So just check out how we're deepening your experience by doing this type of exercise. Push the color through the palms and fingertips. Emphasize the attention here. Inhale, draw that color back into the belly. Softening, gently, only pulling the wrist back. Notice that my shoulders and arms are down. Exhale, pushing the color through the palms and fingertips. But now the awareness connects to the back of my neck, the upper back softening, middle back softening, lower back softening, buttocks, down, backs of legs, calves, ankles, heels into the ground. Soft. Inhale, inhale. And anytime we do these exercises, we're only going to do a few. And what I mean by that is that it's up to you to take this and to bring it home and to do it repeatedly. Take 5 minutes, try it over and over again. Like if you really, any of these exercises really resonate with you, it's actually time under tension, just like weightlifting, etc. Time under tension, making a diamond, turning a coal into a diamond. Time under tension is what's going to create the expertise, the deepened experience, and going to allow you to feel what we're actually talking about. Otherwise, it's like, okay, well, that sounds cool, but if you don't put in the effort, you're not going to get the result out of it. But the cool thing is that then you can meet people like me who apply this stuff in, let's say, push hands and really particular games. And then based on the rule set of that game, you can use the game as a litmus test for the ability to do that thing. So it might sound like a big idea, but then you put it into a game, and can you win the game? And it's as simple as that. Can you win? So therefore, the athletic mindset, which is not a sustainable mindset for a human being, but the athletic mindset can yield really great results to test yourself and to test really important practical spiritual concepts, etc. And that's how I like to utilize competition. I think competition can be very healthy if viewed from a certain perspective. So now we're going to do the neigong. Exhale, wash the color through the palms and fingertips. Inhale, drawing the color in. Both palms are up, but you can only see half of me. Vince just got the full shot. Inhale, drawing the color in to the belly, and make a hollow fist. Hollow fist, almost like you're meditating, except gentle hollow fist. And we're going to rotate. Pelvis rotates on the femur. So the body's going down. You're only going to see a butt in the shot. It's not the intention. Kind of looks like it's hilarious. So I'll work it on Vintage for a second. So pelvis rotates on the femur, coming down, down, down. Chest is going to become parallel to the ground. Parallel even more. Yeah. Awesome. And the hollow fist, the elbows are soft and downward as the gravity's pulling them down, and the elbows are right in front of your eye line. Right in front of the eye line. And you're going to inhale into the belly in this posture, keeping the weight on the heels. And exhale down the legs into the ground. Inhale into the belly. Exhale down the legs into the ground. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, wash the color down the arms to the palms and fingertips. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, wash the lungs as if you're healing the lungs, giving them strength in the breath. One more breath into the belly. And exhale wherever you want to gain strength in the body. Inhale, open the hands, the palms now facing the sky. And exhale, reach through the legs straight behind you. And uncross. Beautiful. Crossing the arms and uncrossing them. Beautiful. And when you do this, oftentimes the back bends. So you're going to lift your collarbone, just the collarbone, to reestablish the posture and stiff your butt out. Yeah, to keep the base of the spine, the low back, is flat too. And you're going to breathe again 4 times, inhaling into the belly. This time when you exhale, you're going to wash the color through the palms, through the entire body like a radar. Inhale deep. Exhale, wash the color through the body like a radar, scanning the body for tension, for dark patches you might see with the mind's eye, for any cold areas or any incredibly hot areas. You're scanning for imbalance. Inhale deep. Exhale, wash the color into the areas that you might have identified with imbalance. So if it's cool, warm it up. If it's too hot, cool it down. If it's tense, program that color to melt the tension away. You're programming the color, which is your attention for your vehicle, with a specific intent. Inhale deep. Exhale through the body, scan it, correct the areas that need correction. One more time. And exhale, wash the color, the arms down, let them soften going down. Inhale. So soften your arms so they go straight down to the ground. And inhale, breath into the wrists lift the body. And stay seated. So now we're in what's called bracing the 1, Notice that embracing the one, I have my shoulder blades disappearing into my upper back. The hands are, middle finger is as high as my shoulder. I'm still in the half horse stance, so is Vintage. Gonna move over, give him more of a shot. And we're gonna inhale into the soft part, down the soft part of the body into the belly. And exhale, wash through the hard part. Washing down. When you exhale from the lower dantian, you visualize the color go up the shoulder blade and through the hard, down the hard part of the arm, through the fingertips. So you ride up as you inhale the soft part into the belly, exhale, ride out on the hard part of the arm. Inhaling deep. Exhale out 6 breaths. I just thought about it. If you wanted, you could just go live and just put it there.
Go live
separately.
I might take that.
Yeah, if you were trying to go live simultaneously, but if like you could just get the alternate angle. Just thought.
How long is this session?
Oh, we'll still be here for another 40 minutes at least. Whatever you want. So. We do this a lot, guys. Like we're doing this several times a week now. So remember, shoulder blade. This is the shoulder blade out, which means that the circulation is not firing rapidly to my palms and fingertips. You have to let it disappear, and then it'll accelerate. It accelerates the breath, the circulation through the palms and fingertips. So just recognize that adjustment that you might want to make for yourself. And we're going to move into holding the golden bowl. Holding the golden bowl means your palm, it's the third exercise of the 12 yin set of neigong. I didn't make that clear either. We transitioned from doing some warm-up exercises that were qigong exercises. Qigong is a very broad description for it. It's a broad category. Tai Chi is technically qigong. Neigong is 1/3 of the Tai Chi system. There are aspects of yoga that are Qigong. There are many. Qigong is essentially breathwork, visualization, and body mechanic combined. And so it's like, okay, cool. Like I'm doing these mechanics, I'm doing this breathwork, I'm doing this visualization. It's all happening. I have intention set. That's great. It's really, really important. And the Qigong, or that description, while Qigong is a word from a particular culture, that description of breathwork, visualization, and body mechanic, there are many cultures all around the world that actually have that. Breathwork, visualization, body mechanic exercises combined. So therefore, it's important to recognize the core of what we're doing and not get caught up in putting it into a box, whether that box is Tai Chi or the box is Qigong, etc. So we always want to make sure that we have an expanded perception of what we're talking about. So, and Vincent's going. Do you want to do like an intro for that? Sure. He's going live on his.
What's up, y'all? So we about to do Tai Chi with the one and only Jade Lucanus, 3-time world Tai Chi champion. You know what I'm saying? So bang, bang, bang. Get some downloads here.
I don't normally do that kind of dance. All right. Cool. And you can feel free to put the camera up there too. Like, let's see. You mind if I touch? All right. We're just taking a little moment to place this up here. Let's see if. I mean, that seems. That's. What do you think? Oh, there we go. Okay. So we're going back into it. So we're going to be seated in a half horse stance. So we're on the third exercise of the 12 yin set of neigong from the Wu style of Tai Chi. Remember, neigong is 1/3 of the Tai Chi system, and it's like weightlifting for intention. There are other things like songgong, soft movement and visualization and willpower work without any breath work at all. We'll do some of that eventually. But this is highly isolated breath work, body mechanics, visualization with direct intentions. This is neigong, a little bit more rigorous than qigong. So, or it's a subcategory of qigong more specifically. We're going to have this imaginary string lifted from the top of the head, and we're going to sit and sink into this posture, this half horse stance. So we talked about this string earlier, but you're going to maintain it. You're always going to check in with your inventory, meaning that all these little details that we're going over right now, you're going to keep on going over them. And every time you deviate from your breath, you're going to go into the body, make sure that the posture's right. When you hold these stances over time, you might start getting higher and higher and higher. And you just check in with yourself, and then you sink back into it. So you check your posture. We were just in embracing the one, for example. We had our shoulder blades disappearing into our upper back. Our middle finger as high as the shoulder. We had the elbow relaxing down, and give that detail before, but the elbow is as if gravity's pulling it straight down. So you should feel the weight of the elbow, but you should also feel that the arm is suspended by the wrist, and these imaginary strings holding up the wrists are connected to your willpower, which was activated by your breath, which means that I lifted my hands by two strings being pulled by the breath. As I inhale, exhale out, push the palms of fingertips, and now the hands stay there because that string is still holding my wrist up. This is a super important detail. I don't think I really described it like this before, but I have said in the past that Tai Chi has multiple visual infrastructures, which means that one infrastructure that takes time to create is then layered on top of another visual infrastructure. So you do this over and over and over again, layering on top of layering on top of layering on top of layering. So, and we'll break this down into the concept of complementary vectors. You know, you might have a straight line, and then you start angling it up. We'll talk about all of that, but now we're going to move on to the third exercise from the 12 yin set of neigong. Palm facing the ceiling or the sky, wherever you are. You can do this seated as well. We're sitting in our half horse stance. Both palms are like that if you check Vintij. And this is called holding the golden bowl. The difference between the last exercise and this exercise is how the breath work changes. We're going to inhale, keeping the mouth closed and the tongue on the ceiling of the mouth. Slight tension in the anus becomes even more important now. And I say slight, I do mean slight, I don't mean super hard. Like very slight tension, subtle in the anus. And that's like connecting the positive and negative sides of a battery. In traditional Chinese medicine, the concept is called the big orbit. When you connect these 2 points, you help to activate the big orbit or increase the circulation along the big orbit, which is the energy that runs up and down the front of the body, the conception vessel, again in traditional Chinese medicine, and all the energy running up and down the back of the body, the governing vessel, the nervous system in traditional Chinese medicine. I am not a TCM practitioner. I don't practice traditional Chinese medicine. I grew up with it, and it's a key part of the Tai Chi system when it comes to understanding some of the health benefits. That being said, I am not a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. I am a coach for Tai Chi push hands, which is the sport of the wrestling side of Tai Chi. So, I coach the U.S. team for that. That's a big part of my life. So, applying these concepts under extreme pressure is important, and that's what I specialize in. So, still, these exercises are key. Inhaling up the front of the body, different breath work that I mentioned earlier, is that your awareness is going from the toes to the top of the head. Exhaling down the back like a waterfall to your heels. You're going to inhale and bring your attention, as detailed or as subtle as you would like, up the front of the body to the top of your head. Exhale, roll the awareness down the back. It should feel like a tidal wave rising as you inhale and a waterfall going down the back. Tidal wave going up the front as you inhale. Exhale down the back. Many different ways to experience this. And remember, self-generation, you being able to generate an experience yourself, is important. So I might recommend certain things, and you might intuitively find a different way to do it, and that's great. You should do that. And then you should do it enough so that you can articulate it, so you can speak about it, so you can put it into words that are defined. And then we can actually have a conversation about it, and then you can share that information. And you also can find whether or not certain things are repeatable by having a deeper understanding of any particular experience, being able to put it into words and train it. As we say on our teams, not just the Tai Chi Push Ass team, but pretty much any team that I work with, if it's not repeatable, it's not competition worthy. That means if you can't do it on command, then you can't train it to be reliable. So this type of exercise and the way I'm articulating it is proven in competition through my experience as a litmus test. So it's important that if you're doing something that's intuitive, that you spend enough time that you can have confidence in articulating it and testing it, and then bringing it to a shared experience. 3 more breaths, inhaling up the front, exhaling down the back. Remember, the shoulder blades are disappearing, so the circulation, meaning they disappear to the upper back, but the shoulders don't go up, they stay soft and down and just forward. 1 more breath. And finally, this is the last neigong exercise we're going to do. We're going to do a transition. And this is the most important. That's why I wanted to do this with Vintij. Inhaling, and the hands are going to come behind the back to the small of the back, making a diamond right at the small of the back. Hold your breath and swallow your saliva twice. Exhale. When you exhale, you're pushing the wrists into the lower back. Massaging. Inhale. Right hand comes over left, both palms facing the sky or the ceiling. Both palms facing the sky or the ceiling. Hold the breath and swallow your saliva twice again. On that second swallow, follow the sensation down, down. Keep following it down. Visualize it as a drop that's falling into a pond that's right here in the belly. And as it hits that pond with that ripple effect, inhale. The left hand comes over the right, up to the collarbone. The right hand stays on the solar plexus. Exhale, sink and sit, pushing the hands down. And then exhale even deeper, flat. Inhale, stage 1 inhalation. Inhale even deeper, stage 2. Exhale down, stage 1. Exhale even deeper, stage 2. So there's a 2-stage inhalation and a 2-stage exhalation. Every stage of a breath can have its own intention. And we're going to talk about that right now. This exercise is called Jade Rabbit Watches the Moon, and it's the most powerful of the neigong exercises I've encountered when it comes to energy storage. There's a great quote. My favorite quote from Deepak Chopra is from the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And I might misquote it a little bit, but the gist of it goes that every human being is responsible for efficiently generating and storing their own energy. So a lot of times we spend our days burning through our energy, but how do we generate energy? And it's not just eating food. So here is an exercise that is completely about energy storage and recharging, as if you're charging a battery. And the concept and the visualization that we're going to go into right now is very similar to watching bars on your phone increase as the battery gets more and more charged. So this 2-stage inhalation works like this. Stage 1, right hand over left. Inhale even deeper, stage 2, left comes over right, up to the collarbone. Exhale, stage 1, pushing down. Exhale even deeper, stage 2. Notice that Vintij is sitting when he does this, and then you're standing on your inhale. Next inhalation, stage 2. Exhale, stage 1. Exhale, stage 2. Now we add the visualization to this. The breath is coming into the belly. Color, give the breath a color. And the second stage starts overflowing in the belly. Exhale, condense that color. And then exhale even deeper and flatten it like dough. Inhale, draw more of the color into the belly. Inhale even deeper. It starts overflowing in the belly. Exhale, condense like you're making a ball, like a big ball of light. And then exhale, flatten that ball of light in the belly. So we might be using our hands, but the visualization is deep in the centermost point of the body, in the lower dantian, the second chakra area. Inhaling up, stage 1, color overflows. Exhale. So now we have the breath work and we have the color visualization. But then we have to program the color. And this connects back to what I was saying about multiple visual infrastructures layered on top of each other. So now, once you have the breath choreography and you have the color visualization, which means you're training your visualization is just like weightlifting. So the more you do it, the stronger you get. And it's a very important thing to be able to do. The top athletes and top CEOs and top performers that we know in our society all have visualization in common. You have to be able to visualize your wins to be able to perform at a high level. So being able to visualize within your body is a way to help train you visualizing outside of your body, visualizing the life that you want. So visualizing inside is going to help you get more in contact with your health, with your strength, with many other things. So now we're going to program the visualization to do something. So here we go. Inhale the color stage 1 as the ether. You're drawing in the energy of the breath. Even deeper, it starts to overflow. And then we compress that energy, making this big ball of light. It becomes very vibrant, very strong. And then we flatten that strong, vibrant energy in the body and store it. This flattening movement is us storing the energy here. And then we gather more. Even deeper, it starts to overflow. We compress it. And it becomes highly potent. And then we flatten that potent energy in the lower dantian, and we gather more. So there's a sense of faith. I'm saying a lot right now, but there's a sense of faith that once you get all these things, you start to program them into your experience, that you just let go of all the stuff I just said. And you just have the faith that every time you take a breath, you're getting stronger. Every time you exhale, you're storing energy. And it's simple, but there's dynamism. And without focusing on those details, having an understanding that all those details are actually happening at once, then you might miss some great opportunities to learn about yourself, to learn about the body, and to optimize your experience. So that's why it's super important, whether it's posture or the intention and the breath work, etc., that we're talking about, that you do this stuff and at least give it a few moments of consideration. And if it's too much for you at any given time, that's okay. You can always walk away from that one area of concentration and walk toward another one. Say, okay, cool. Well, I don't want to focus on the color visualization as much right now. I just want to have the concept of being relaxed and inhaling and exhaling. And you're definitely going to get something out of this if you just do that. But as deep as you want to go, that's as deep as you can go. And for us, we're focused very much on the faith that knowing that even though we're exhaling breath, we're not releasing energy, we're storing. We're programming ourselves to generate this visualization. We're using the breath to generate, catalyze the visualization. And that's a really important concept too, because eventually for many of these moves, you should be able to do them without the breath at all, which means that you don't utilize the breathing at some point. And it's the concept of learning structure to break structure. So sometimes you learn a rule, you follow the rules, and then you intentionally break the rules because you no longer need them in a given situation. The rules aren't meant to always be there. There are times where you have to break the rules. So use the breath for as long as it takes you to train your willpower, and then use the willpower without the breath, and then come back to the breath again. It's a cycle. You just keep doing it. And after you do about 6 of these, we've done many more, you stay seated. Keep the weight on the center of each heel, and we'll do 6 more. And then we're going to start push-ups. Inhale, stage 1. The deeper, stage 2. Exhale, stage 1. Deeper 2. Shift the weight, feet shoulder width apart, parallel, uplifting heaven. Big breath, inhaling up. Inhale even deeper, even deeper. 4-stage inhalation. Exhale, wash the color down the arms and down the legs. Exhalation just as long, if not longer than the inhalation. Inhale, breath lifts the wrists. Stage 1. Even deeper, stage 2. Even deeper, stage 3. Bend the knees, weight shifts forward. Even deeper, stage 4, stretching onto the toes, out of the hips, out of the shoulders. Looking up. Okay, so we're going to get into some push hands. Before Vintage and I come together, we're going to do this exercise where we do it separately. And separately, it's awesome because you can train this on your own. Push hands, again, for those who are just joining us, it's 1/3 of the Tai Chi system. And that 1/3 of the system is all about being able to have pressure control, sense control, and the ability for you to redirect pressure towards your goals. So that's what we're working on right now. And this is from the Wu style Tai Chi. There are many different ways to do push hands. This is from the Wu style in particular. And we're going to have, in the Wu style, to strengthen the legs, the feet remain parallel, which means that a lot of times, even if you're a boxer, you know that you're boxing, you have that back foot up, the heel up, and this foot is about 45 degrees out, which means that one foot's this way, the other foot's this way, like that. So in Yang style Tai Chi as well, one of the stories goes that the original Yang style was Wu style, and then the Yang family changed the Wu style to make it easier and more popular, which is why Tai Chi spread throughout the world. I don't know if that history is true. There are many different conflicting histories of martial arts, but I think that's interesting. And the Yang style, or more traditional Tai Chi stance. There we go. So, feet parallel, shoulder width apart. We're going to shift onto one leg. I'm going to move to one side. I'm shifting on my right leg, left leg forward. My hands are going to be up, and my back is flat, relaxing. And my palms are forward. I'm going to exhale, push into my A-frame. What is an A-frame? An A-frame means the back heel, there's a straight line from the back heel to the top of your head. Again, back heel anchored into the ground, straight line to the top of the head. My nose is over my front knee, my knee is over my big toe, and my hips and shoulders, you start out square just for a moment, and then you soften the back hip into the groin of the front hip. And that's going to help you wind in or coil into the front leg. So you're going to have an anchor in the back leg and a coil into the front leg. And it creates this rainbow-like structural pattern where the back is going into the front and you're drilling down. And it's really amazing for counter wrestling, which means that it looks like you're overextending yourself. Looks like you're overcommitting, but what you are is you're really rooted into a front leg. So it's really great stuff. So you're going to your A-frame, palms up, sunset is happening. And then we're going to take one hand, we're going to brush across and push. Inhale, middle finger on the wrist of the extended hand, stage one. And then switch hands, middle finger on the other wrist, two. Inhaling and then exhale, pushing the palms. So this is the move we started with, but now it's coming at a little bit of an angle. Inhaling up, exhaling. Inhale, middle finger on the pulse of the extended arm. Exhale, middle finger on the pulse of the extended arm. And push forward, double palm pushing across the body. One arm rises up. Exhale. One is brushing, one is drilling. My hip is dropping. The hand that brushes comes up to the elbow level of your partner when you have a partner, and middle finger on the pulse, and the same thing. So I'm pressing, double press. One arm comes up, exhale. Inhale, cross one, and then across two. Cross one, cross two, and exhale. And now, you can do this on your own. I'll just show it from the side while Vintage is doing it on his side. Pushing, brush, roll back one, roll back 2. So you have 2 pushes. Push 1, and then push 2, roll back 1, roll back 2. Coming into the front. Again, you can do this on your own. Push 1 is double palm push. Push 2, double palm push helps you load up for the other one, and you drill and brush is push 2. And then the brushing hand comes up. What you're actually doing is controlling the elbow, because that's how you control someone's body standing up, is by the elbow. And that's a concept that's not commonly known. The hand comes up and you control the elbow, and you roll back 1, and you roll back 2. Double push 1, and then you push 2, control the elbow 1, protect the chest, control the elbow 2, protect the chest. And now we're going to do this partnered up. It's taking us a while to get here. Let me just make sure I got the yeah, this could be great. Cool. All right. So how did we do this? Sure, yeah, you're going to push. Okay, great. So Vince is going to push, double press 1, and this arm's going to come up, and he's loaded, and he's going to press. And notice this brushing hand is reminding me to sink. So now you're helping your partner to strengthen their back leg. And look where his hand ended up, right at the elbow level. And he's going to connect right to the elbow with a gentle touch. And then as I push him, he's going to redirect me across his body, turning his waist. And I'm loaded up for my second push. Let's walk just a little bit forward to get you on frame. There we go. I'm loaded up for my second push, and he's rolling me off. Notice that I'm brushing him here, and I'm coming right back up to the elbow and pushing 1. And now he's going to come over for his second push. 2, 1, 2. So there's 2 pushes and 2 rollbacks. And there's a lot of variety that can happen in here too. There's a lot of variation, but you want to stick with the form first and get really used to it before you start throwing in the variations. And ideally, if you do push hands, you also do the Tai Chi form. My buddy Chuisho Chen, who's Chen Chen, or he's the 16-time world champion of the Tai Chi World Cup in Taiwan, arguably the best player to ever live in the sport. Amazing guy. And the Tai Chi World Cup happens in 2 weeks in Taiwan on the 28th and 29th of October. So I have my U.S. teammates are going out there. I'm staying in L.A. But what I'm getting at is that he doesn't like doing the form. Or at least the last time I spoke to him about the form, he really hated doing the form. But it's really important to do the form if it fits your personality type. And the reason is because all the moves are in the form. so it doesn't mean that you can't learn the moves outside of it. You can learn sports push hands and be really, really good. But it's even better, in my experience, especially for longevity, for you to learn the Tai Chi form or a Tai Chi form, because there's many different ones. And I'm going to make some adjustments for our posture here. So I'm drilling and pushing, and notice that my push on him, a little step forward so we can more camera. My push on him is not just my palm, because he's guarding with his wrist. So you can see here, he's got a hand on my elbow. He's got this hand blocking here. So my other hand is just brushing, making sure that he's okay. And now simultaneously, there's also a martial component to this too, but we're not going to talk about that because that'll be distracting. So right now, just focus on the position of guiding your across the belly. But I'm not just pushing with my palm. I'm starting to use my forearm and my belly, my elbow, my forearm, my elbow to drill. And I'm not breaking the form as much as I'm adding dynamism to the form, to this form, this 4 push, 2 push, 2 rollback form. So for him, he can do the same. So he's pressing on me, pushing with both arms. And now coming, pressing, and he's drilling his palm, dropping the elbow down, the drill, but you can stay connected and keep drilling with the elbow, and you can drill more, and then it forces me to be more flexible. So that's where we're really training a lot of flexibility, and not just flexibility in our body, but flexibility in the mind, meaning that, this thing that I wanted here with the push on my palm didn't work out, but look what I also have. He's connected to my elbow, so what happens when I drill in? what happens when I do all this stuff and use those points of connectivity to leverage another outcome. Press more with this one too. And it connects to the hips, it connects to the breath. Exhale, push. And really try to get me to come all the way up too. Like yeah, as if you're going to roll me up. Good stuff. And if that doesn't work, then come down. And really drill. And this visualization stuff that we're talking about in the body starts to become, if you do jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, there's a concept that's like visualizing your weight like an arrow. And when you're on the ground, you're pinning to help pin opponents to the ground. You're going to visualize certain points that you're connected to your partner on, like shooting right through. The visualization shoots right through to the ground. So a similar concept in push hands is when you're doing these, and this is where the term vector starts coming in. My vector is visualizing my push going right through his body to that corner. And so he's going to redirect me. He doesn't want that happening. So now my vector's been disrupted, or seemingly disrupted. So now it's not coming through my hand anymore. The visualization's still there, but my hand's no longer aligned with the visualization. Huge point. I probably got to cut this and turn into another video. But now the visualization is going through my elbow. Now my elbow's aligned with it. My forearm, now my elbow. And so I still keep going through that visualization. So my visualization maintains even if the point of my body that was aligned with it no longer maintains alignment. So in the same way, when Vintij is pushing the visualization through his palms, through me, and as the body turns, the vector doesn't change. It's just where you're connected, what part of the skin is connected. Exactly. And then drilling through, the vector shoot through my body, good stuff, and then the forearm and the wrist can continue. And it changes the physical experience. And it's important to note that while we're doing this, we can switch legs and keep the same hands. And then we can switch hands and have different legs, same legs. So and it might be you felt that was the roll was easier on that side. Good stuff. Great. So from right here, and exhale, bring the Dantian four-person color visualization through. Yep, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. If I redirect you, keep going. So yeah, keep pushing. There we go. Good stuff. Drill. And, yep. And drop your elbow and drop it here. And when I say drop it all with the push. So it all comes down at once. Good stuff. Yep. So really cool thing about Vintij's body is that he's got very long arms. I think we actually have the same wingspan. You, me, and Rami all have the 72-inch wingspan? I have 72. Rami and I have the 72-inch wingspan. I thought you and I actually had the same wingspan. So let's test this right now. It's possible. Do you have longer arms than me? Hold on, let's see.
I'm a little bit taller, I think.
Oh, are you 6 foot?
Yeah, 6'1".
You're 6'1"?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think you might have probably 6'2". Oh, where did you reach your fingers at? I think you have longer wingspan than me. Or maybe. Huh. Excuse me. Whose arms are longer? They look the same, right?
They look pretty much the
You gotta
same
get the
to me.
details.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it seems like Vintage and I have the same wingspan. So which is awesome. But I'm you're 6'1"? So I'm fake 6 foot. I'm actually 5'11" and 3/4, but I tell people 6 foot. Don't tell anyone that. So the reason I'm mentioning that is because with these longer arms, he has a really particular game that he can play, and that game is closer to. There's a martial art that's closest kung fu style to Tai Chi is praying mantis, and praying mantis kung fu has a lot of these structural locks that are done in these like mantis forms, like you're doing this. But these are strikes, hidden temple. There's a bunch of ways to train your fingers, like sticking it in hot sand, like these big metal, like huge wok you can imagine of like hot sand, heated sand. You keep dipping your fingers in. I don't do that, and nor do I want to do that. But what I'm getting at is that the structural locks are really fantastic for his game, and let's switch sides because I want to make sure that we do switch sides of the hand. So like you get the legs, but maybe push this way. But then eventually, like maybe in the next few minutes, we'll talk about the. Let me make sure my it looks dark. Cool. So you can tell, like Vincent is more comfortable on this side too. You can feel it, his the way he's sticking. And when I say sticking, I mean you can move it up just a little bit. You can see and feel just a different level of sureness when it comes to his structure and the body here, which is great. And he's riding my pressure differently. More precisely. That's really the way to describe it. Especially on this side, really controlling the arms. So, just as an example, just look at this moment. He's got this part of my arm. He's rolling the pressure past him, but he could turn, keep going, and slide, keep this elbow here, keep this hand here, and now he's got a structural lock. Structural lock means that you don't need to grab. It's just the nature of the structure. He doesn't need to grab anywhere. The nature of one part of the limb being on let's say your opponent's limb, the other part being on the other side, can create these counterpoints. And now all I have to do is turn that way, and he's got me moving this way. He's also got me in an arm lock. He has my elbow. So it's really, really great stuff that when you do these types of exercises, that you can start finding these moments. And what I was talking about earlier in terms of confidence is that by doing this is how I gain confidence in like martial arts in general, is doing this one set of exercises, this particular routine with all my Tai Chi uncles and my father, and just doing it over and over again for hours and hours and hours, and starting to play with different levels, meaning like, okay, I'm going to push a little lower, and how is he going to adjust when I push lower? Okay, cool, I'm going to push higher. How is he adjusting? And what are the little moves that we can do from here? Like the difference between connecting with the hands and sliding my elbow to control and rolling my arms, and all these little skills, these small details give you more flexibility in how to respond to pressure. It's like, oh man, I don't need to only use my palms to control an elbow. I can control someone's elbow with an elbow. And the cool thing about controlling the elbow is it controls the body, as you can see here. So he can do a lot still it's not like so much that I've locked his arm and he can't do anything. Oh wow, he's locked the wall. You know, it's not like that. It's like, hey, let's just play freestyle for a second. So he's gonna try to push me out of the camera frame. I'm gonna try to push him out of the camera frame. Go for it. Actually, I'm gonna try to push him. He's just gonna try to push me. I'm just gonna stand. Okay, go for it. So I'm just controlling the elbows here, and I'm locking the elbows, and I'm not locking them by hard pushing. I'm just redirecting these elbows. And like the concept of just making sure, like, hey, if I just aim for here, it's gonna make it really hard for a person to move. A lot of people grab wrists, and because they don't know necessarily that, hey, look at all that's happening here. There's all that if he grabs my wrist, just try to play from there and go for it, and yeah, try to stay this time. So he grabs my wrist. I'm like, okay, I can roll my body into him in so many different ways. But if he grabs my elbows and I now try to push him out, or should I say aims for my elbows and I grabs. If he aims for my elbows and thinks about redirecting my movements into my body to turn my chest like a wheel, or the T on the chest, the distance between the shoulders through the spine, to turn me and flip. If you lift the shoulder, it lifts the hip. And if you lift the hip, that means you're putting pressure on the other leg. And if you put pressure on the other leg, it means you could spin a person on that leg where the pressure is, because you've taken pressure off of one side. So if you just keep thinking like that, hey, the body structure, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just body structure. So it's like, and so I'm gonna go for him and try to push him out. And remember, it doesn't have to. You don't have to keep your thumb here, because that can lock you, because I can start pushing against your thumb and then get you to move your arm back. So if you just keep, in jiu-jitsu they call it bear paws. In kung fu they may do something closer to this. But at the end of the day, as long as it's soft, where the fingers are together so that one can't get caught in the clothing, and you just have these positions, you can move around these positions and keep on moving someone's body, elbows into them. And when you connect an elbow into someone's body, it's called a pin. So you want to pin and then make it hard for somebody to get out of the pin. And then as they try to get out, that's when you push them other directions, because they're putting pressure out, and then they're forgetting about this. They're creating a hole here. So they're creating tension here and then softening here. Then you just push them where it's soft. And it's like, oh, hey, ha. So, okay, try to move me out of the frame. Go for it. With the elbows, yeah. I'll try to move you out of the frame, and you're going to control my elbows. Good stuff. Awesome. Yeah, I'm going to go a little more intensely now. Same thing. Yeah. Good stuff. Excellent. It's awesome. Okay. So, hey.
You guys are recording or something?
Yeah, we're shooting a tutorial.
Don't point towards the buildings. They don't want anybody. Because a lot of people put it on YouTube. They put all these things there, and if they get sued or something, it's gonna say, "Why is our buildings in the background?"
Okay.
So they would rather just do it pointing towards the trees,
Sure,
somewhere where it's not pointing towards
no problem.
the buildings whatsoever. Because if, like I said, let's just say you got sued. I'm not saying you are, and it goes on you. They're gonna sit there and say, "Why is our building in the background?"
No problem.
Permission.
No problem.
That way, it's away
question,
from.
What building is it?
Well, this is all city, but this is the theater gallery, and the other thing is a
I learned a
municipal.
lot.
So do they have like events here? Is there like
That's
actual,
events for events.
Are there arts? Is there like art inside, etc.?
They have that over there for the municipal art.
Oh,
And
really?
then over here it's for theater, but not theater
When
where you
does it
watch
open?
movie. They have the times and everything.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No
man.
problem.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
Hi, I have a question. Do you know the laws around like filming on in this park?
That's what I was talking to the gentleman. Okay, so the thing is this: is that you
Alright.
can't film towards the buildings.
Let's fix the
Because
line.
they don't want their buildings. If you wanted to film, you like to talk to them when operational,
fine.
in the morning.
Yeah.
When it opens, the municipal art gallery. Talk to the people in the area to help them make on that stuff. So you can't just finish it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You know what I mean? I said some city people came in here, filmed, but they got paperwork from them. You know what I mean? So
Okay, yeah.
whether you got something you have to fix with them, and then they'll give you the requirements, what you do, you can't do, and all that. As far as taking pictures, like I told you, get a face towards. If you want to take pictures,
Yeah.
with a phone, just do it that way, so
Yeah.
it's in the trees.
Yeah.
It doesn't show that it's a building.
Mhm.
But what they're concerned is they don't want their buildings filmed in it.
Yeah.
Because if you guys get sued, guess what happens? They're gonna say, okay, wait a minute, you're getting sued. Where were you at? And they're like, why are you recording in our building? Who
Yeah.
gave you permission? See, and it's gonna go on getting them involved in something
Yeah,
that went
yeah.
on you.
Cool. I was
So
just
they don't
wondering
want
who to go to.
So
for...
if you take pictures
I would
going
say
that
slow
way,
down.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, that's
really,
Hollywood. Look,
really
the
that
mountains.
means
They don't know
speed
what
up
it
your
is. You know,
perception.
Yeah.
you can see, oh, they were playing that
So it
direction.
means like, okay, the
Okay.
belly, the
So we
breath
should go to
is
that office in the morning and see.
Yeah, just talk to them in the morning. They'll tell you feel free to walk in when they're available in the morning, and they'll give you more information about it, about
Great.
the information, filming, and all that.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, no problem.
So what I was telling Mitch is just making sure that if you ever find yourself going really, really fast and you don't feel the same connection to full body power, because that's really all we're talking about. When we say connection, we're talking about full power. And how full is your full power? How deeply can you connect? I think I'm missing my frame over here. But essentially, like how deeply can you connect to your full body power? Which means that the smaller the circles in your body and the more coordinated they are, the smaller the circle, the greater centrifugal force, and the more coordinated the circles, the less big movements you have to do to generate power. So a lot of times you might see someone go like, oh, like big swinging or throwing a big bolo punch, and everyone knows that's probably the best example. Like old movies would show bar fights, and bar fights would have these things called bolo punches, these big wide swings, which is really not a realistic type of swing. And I think with probably in the last 15 years or so, people have shifted in understanding what it means to fight, because the UFC has revolutionized people's perception of body and bodies fighting, and the science of fighting has gotten way more evolved. So people know these days that this is actually not a strong punch. It's actually like a really bad, weak, I don't know what I'm doing kind of punch. So exactly. So like there's tighter ways to generate power, because we know that, okay, I can throw like a nice clean cross and generate massive amounts of power to knock somebody out. So these are just differences that apply to what we're talking about right now. If you find yourself moving like this and not connecting the breath work to the belly, the hips to the fingertips to the toes, really just doing your best to make sure that you find that when you move a bit, that there's actually a lot of pressure coming out of you. There's a lot of power coming out of you, and that power will manifest itself as feeling heavier. You might feel lighter to yourself, but your opponent 10%. It's okay. We're gonna finish up soon. So, is there anything that you want to like? We started this exercise today in this way because Vintij said that he wanted to work on. I asked him what he wanted to work on, and we talked about this essentially two push, two roll back, Tai Chi push hands Wu style exercise. So it's a 4-move exercise, and now we've done it. We did neigong leading up to it. We did qigong. And is there anything that you want to work on specifically outside of that? You want to stretch up? Okay. All right. So we're going to stretch up here, and like it's amazing how many schools, martial arts schools, don't integrate stretching into their training. And I think I'm not sure if it has to do with like timing and like fitting in another class, especially for like kids or even adults. Like just the lack of stretching is like crazy to me. So when you do Tai Chi, not only do you stretch, but you give yourself a self massage. You're always massaging yourself, taking the good energy and circulation, bringing it back into you. So first thing is uplifting heaven. So the second we finish up, in between any type of exercise set, we always come into uplifting heaven. The reason is because this exercise helps you to whip yourself back into your center line, connecting back to the breath, stretching out the hips onto the toes, and exhale, wash the color down the arms, down the legs. softly. And now we're going to bring our feet 2 fists apart while standing. Inhale, breathless the wrists. The wrists pull the body. The fingers are going to go above the head. Hips are going to go forward. Chest up. Fingers are reaching behind you to a wall behind you or to the distance behind you. Then exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Reaching down. Soften the knees, inhaling out. So fingers come up. Reach behind you, chest up. Head falls back. Hips forward, weight on your toes. Exhale, butt back, fingers forward. Pushing the collar through the palms of the fingers. Inhaling out, breathless the wrist. And this time we're going to stick 1 foot forward and exhale, reach down, touch. Getting a little hard to see because of the light, so we're finishing up. Inhaling up, switch legs. One leg goes back, the other leg goes forward. The weight stays on the back leg so that you can lift. Only the heel of the front foot touches. So my toe is sticking up. Exhale, wash down. Switch legs 45 degrees. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhaling up 90 degrees. And now one more. Exhale. And for good measure, let's bring one leg behind the other. So one foot comes behind the other. They stay next to each other. Exhale down. So our legs are crossed. Inhaling up. One leg comes in. Switch again. So now I put the back leg into the front. Exhale, crossing the leg. Stretching, inhaling up. Feet shoulder width apart, parallel. Exhale, washing down. And slapping up. This is the self-massage beginning. Slapping up the inside of the arm, down the outside of the arm, up the inside of your arm, down the outside hard part of your arm. So up the soft part, down the hard part. Slapping over the shoulders, and down the back, down the backs of the legs, and then inhaling up, exhaling down. This is called ocean of blood returns to the source. And you just rub the hands together. Now we're going to rub around pectoral major, like massaging, inhaling into the belly. It's not just pushing the pressure on, but you're inhaling into your belly, seeing the breath as a color, and as you exhale, you push that color through the arm, down into the palm, and through the palm back into the chest. So you're creating this visual circuit. Inhaling into the belly, exhale through the palms into the chest, and allow the chest to receive the color that you're pushing into it. And then you tap around the perimeter of pectoral major, and then you massage through the lymph nodes, and then collarbone up and down, or should I say sternum. 4 fingers on the sternum, and massage up and down. Collarbone either side of the collarbone. This is for hormones, helping to balance the hormones. Thumb and hook under the lip and squeeze. Squeeze, release, squeeze, pull, switch. So squeeze, hold. Squeeze. This is for sleep, around the earlobes, or should I say, we're just on the massaging and circling the earlobes. At the bottom, and then index and middle finger up, over, down, under. This is for the immune system. Very strong pressure. Up, over, down, under. Up, over, down, under. Up, over, down. Going up to the side, release. Up in the face, to the side, release. Up the face, to the side, release. Do the scalp, front to back, back to front. Front to back, back to front. Massaging front to back, back to front. Don't worry about messing up your hair. This is more important. Slapping front to back, back to front. Hollow fist, gentle banging, front to back, back to front. Grab the scalp, knead it like dough. 1, 2, release, release, release. And then reverse it. 1, 2, release, release, release. 4 fingers at the top of the forehead, massage. 1, 2, temples, 1, 2. For the heart, right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Middle finger on the center of the lip and massage. Tongue, reverse it. Flick the fingers out. Thumbs flick. And then 1, 2, 3. Grab. 1, 2, 3. And then just close the eyes, and we always finish up with some middle pillar breathing. Middle pillar breathing is a white light breathwork visualization that traces the natural magnetic lines of the body. So that's what we're doing here. But we're also combining it with the vibration of tracing the vibration or attention, having your attention go through your bone marrow. So you want to use the sound first to kind of wash your bone marrow, but we're layering this with the middle pillar breathing of just going around the natural magnetic lines. So you want to just map inside your body. So inhale, white line to the belly. And spread through the whole body using the sound ah to carry the color of white light through the bone marrow. Inhale, white light up the front of the body like a tidal wave. Exhale, roll it down the back like a waterfall. Inhale up the left side. Exhale down the right. Inhale, white light to the belly. Push it down the legs into the ground. Let it come back up and around like a fountain reverse, like a big bubble around you. One more. Inhale, white line to the belly. Exhale, push it to the top of the head and make a big bubble around the body of white light. Have gratitude for the body, good people in your life, the space that you're in. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Vintage. I love this guy so much. Guys, we'll see you soon.
Thank y'all for tuning in.
Yeah,
hope y'all learn something.
Follow him at Vintij, Vintij. Okay, so this is like one of my. You guys are. He's streaming on his too. So I'm at Jan's Tai Chi, JANSTAIC.